Okay, so time for a fun video about Baccarat. Although I've only played a couple sessions of Baccarat in my entire life, I really do enjoy the game from the background, kind of like a secret admirer. It has excellent potential for some degenerate fun while drinking, but to fully enjoy the game, you have to have some sort of appealing system that allows you to kind of find out some of the information about what kind of hand you have and the values of the cards you're holding without knowing everything at once. It's almost like a nice tease, you know? And the first step to understanding the art of appealing is to understand the structure of the cards and how to partially predict what the value of the card is without exactly knowing it. Um, there is actually only one group of cards where you will immediately be able to know exactly what value you have upon looking at the card upon the first inspection, and that's the face cards. So how I like to organize the card values is in four categories. You have your low cards, 0, 1, 2, and 3. You have the mid lows, which are 4 and 5. The mid high cards, which is 6, 7, and 8. And you have your high cards, which are 9 and 10. And the way I peel every card is it starts exactly the same way. And what you'll do is you look at the card, okay? There's a long side, there's a short side to the card, okay? Whenever you want to peel card, you're always looking at the bottom right corner when you have the card with the long side, vertically. So every card that you'll notice is I'll peel exactly the same way, okay? Every time I'll peel exactly the same way from the bottom right-hand corner of the left side of the card. That's the start of every peel, okay? And in this particular instance, we're gonna start with the lower cards first, okay? So this is the one group of cards where the face cards, where you will automatically know from the beginning exactly what card you have. So as you start to peel from that bottom right hand corner up, what you'll see a 90-degree corner. That automatically lets you know you have a face card and the value of it is a 0. Okay? Now, for the 1, 2, and 3, you follow the same kind of protocol. You take the card, you're looking at vertical side, you're gonna have the long end vertical, turn over, peel from the bottom right corner, and what you're gonna notice is there's no pip there. There's no marking. And basically the pip is, either spade, club, heart, diamond. There's nothing there. The moment that you see that nothing's there, you know, okay, I either have a 1, 2, or 3. At that point, I usually just discard the card to the side because now I know, okay, 1, 2, or 3. If I want to know more information about it, then I'll figure it out later. But we'll talk about one particular sweat a little later where I do kind of want to know where it becomes important what this actual card is. For the mid-low cards, which are the 4 and 5, same system, okay? I'm gonna first look at the card. I'm gonna kind of slide up from that bottom right corner, look, and what you'll notice is you'll see a pip. Okay, so now you know, okay, if the pip's there, then you know you have a card that is a 4 through a 10, okay? Now, the thing about it is, as you slide further and further down the card towards the middle of the card, you won't see another pip, okay? And when you don't see that other pip there, that lets you know that this is basically what we call a two-sided card, a 2-pip card. This card has 2 pips on it, and that lets you know that this card is either a 4 or 5. Same thing for the 4 and the 5, same thing. You'll look, you'll see 1 pip, no pip in the middle, you know 4 or 5. Okay, now moving on to your mid-high cards. Same exact kind of thing. All right, you're folding up from your bottom right-hand corner. You see a pip, but then there's a little bit of a difference this time. Oh, as you move towards the middle, you see another pip. So when you look up, bam, 4 through 10. All right, as you slide down, you see another pip. Okay, now I know, especially when that pip's in the middle of the card, towards the middle of the card, you know, okay, I have a 6, 7, or 8. And these are the 3-sided. These are the pips that have, these are the cards that have 3 pips to each side. So you know now 6, 7, or 8. Same thing. Fold up, 1 pip, pip in the middle. You know that the card's either a 6, 7, or 8. Okay? Last group, and I call these the highs. Now, when you're reading these cards, basically same exact thing every time. Bottom right-hand corner, peeling upwards, we see pip. But with these cards, what you'll notice is that even right after you start advancing a little bit, you're gonna see another pip. Okay, this pip is before you get towards the middle of the card. So at that point, you immediately know you have basically a card that has 4 pips on each side. In that case, it's either a 9 or a 10. Okay. So once you've gotten that down, now you can look at the bottom right corner of any card and have a pretty good idea of where, of what, you know, what group that card belongs to. You know, if you see a corner, it's a 0. You know that if you see just one isolated pip and then another, and then no pip in the middle, you know that you have a 4 or 5. If you see one isolated pip and then another pip in the middle, you know you've got either 6, 7, or 8. And then if you see 2 pips close together, you know you either have a 9 or a 10. So as you may or may not know, the way to Bennett Baccarat is to get as close to 9 without going over. Basically, you know, all the numbers have, every card's assigned a numerical value, and when you add the cards up, you just get rid of the first number. If it's a 15, it's a 5, except for example, and whoever has the closest to 9 without going over, or 9, wins. Now, automatic wins occur when one side either has an 8 or a 9 with the first 2 cards. This is called the natural hand. So, you know, the starting cards that have a decent chance of being an 8 or a 9 is where we get in these fun sweat situations. This kind of allows you to partake in the most fun part of Baccarat to me, which is the trolling. And the trolling really only works if your opponents are a little knowledgeable about peeling, and that makes the sweats more fun. So, in my opinion, there are 5 main sweats that you kind of need to know in order to really be able to enjoy Baccarat. And we'll start from the ones that have the highest percentage of being a natural, going down to the lowest. So the first sweat is the double 2-sider. And basically, this is when you look, you peel, you see 1 pip, no pip. You go to your second card, so you know 4 or 5. Next, 1 pip, no pip. So basically what you have is a double 2-sided card, right? In this situation, you know that both of your cards are either a 4 or a 5, or one of them's a 4 or 5. So there's a chance that you have a natural 75% of the time. So what I like to do in that case is just kind of bend the card up, and just kind of ship that right over to my opponents, you know, just to let them know there's a 75% chance that I've got you crushed. All right. Now, the funny part about it is that, you know, you may end up crying, because if both these cards are a 5, then you have a big fat 0, and your opponent's most likely pretty decently ahead. the second situation is two four-sided cards, right? So you get two cards, you peel up, boom, boom, you see the two pips right there. So now you know, okay, you know this is a 9 or a 10. All right, you got a good little chance for a natural maybe. You peel up again, 9, 10, right? So kind of the same situation with the double two pip sided cards. Basically, you know that you're gonna have a natural 75% of the time, and then the other 25% of the time, you have a big fat 0. So in the same way, fold up, let your opponents know, look, I got two chances at this. If one of these cards is a 10, you're screwed. And one of them is. So, natural 9, automatic, can't lose. All right. The third big sweat that I like is the corner plus the four side. Okay. So basically, you know, like I said before, the face cards are the only cards where you will literally get a little bit of information and know exactly where you're at in the hand with that card. So you peel up a little bit, you see the corner, you know that's a 0. You can put that off to the side. Now, let's say you peel up a little bit on this next card. Oh, you see the pip, you see the two close pips. Bam. So what this tells you is that this card is either a 9 or a 10. So you know right there you have a 50% chance of having a natural or 50% chance of having a 0. And in the same case, show your opponent, and let them sweat it a little bit. Now, they may laugh at you and say, yeah, but you also have a 50% chance of having a 0. And in this case, I do have a 0. So now you're in pretty rough shape. All right. The fourth situation is kind of the one that I alluded to earlier. Well, no, this is just the one that I alluded to earlier, but, you know, it's a situation where you have a 3 pip and a no pip. So basically, the 3 pip signifies, you know, when you look at your card, you know, look at that bottom right card, and you see pip, and then you move towards the middle, you see another pip in the middle, you know that you have a 3 pip card, right? And that signifies a 6, 7, or 8. Whereas if you take another card and you see nothing, you know that that's a no pip, right? It signifies a 1, 2, or 3. So in this situation, in this one particular situation, you either have a 66% chance if the 3 pip card is a 6 or a 7, and a 33% chance if the 3 pip card is an 8. So let's say we look at our pip card, right? And we see, okay, we know this is a 6, 7, or 8. We look again, we see that it's a 7. Okay? So now we know that this card with no pip, if this card is a 1 or a 2, then we have a natural, right? Either an 8 or a 9. So now we basically got, you know, a 66% chance on this card. So basically you could flip this card up and say, I got a 7, and then you can show no pip, right? And most people who are kind of a little sad, they'll know, oh no, there's a pretty high chance that this person has a natural hand and that I'm in bad shape. In this particular case though, like most times, if you don't hit that natural, you're rocking with a nice 0. All right. The fifth and final situation is the corner card plus a 3-sider. So let's say you get a corner card, right? You're looking at the bottom right, you see, bam, corner, you know it's a 0, and then you look, See a pip, so you know 4 through 10. You see another pip, so you know it's a 6, 7, 8. You see the pip in the middle, you know it's 6, 7, 8. You know it's not a 9 or 10 because the pip would be higher. It'd be more before you get to the middle, before you get the middle of the card. So now you know that if this card's a 6, 7, and this card's a 6, 7, or 8, and this card is a 0, that means you have a 32% chance of having a natural, which is the 8. But the good thing about it is that you have a pretty strong hand even if you don't have the natural. So this is one of those situations where, you know, all the other situations, it was like you either have a really strong hand or a really weak hand, but you had a better chance of having a strong hand. In this situation, you have less of a chance of having a strong hand, but if you do get the hand, but even if you don't have the strong hand, your other side's probably still in pretty bad shape, because if you have a 6 or a 7, that's still a pretty good hand. All right. So I hope these tips help you have some fun with opponents at the tables, and, you know, maybe have a little bit more fun at the game of Baccarat.